Hello, human. One of the biggest mistakes when caring for kefir grains isn't lack of attention, but an excess of good intentions applied in the wrong way. Many people damage their grains by constantly trying to protect, clean, or fix them without understanding that they are a living community that needs stability more than intervention. A classic example is washing them with water. At first glance, it seems logical. If something looks strange, you clean it. The problem is that kefir grains are not a dirty object. They are a colony of bacteria and yeasts adapted to a very specific environment. When you wash them with water, especially tap water, you expose them to chlorine, minerals, and sudden changes in pH and temperature. All of that creates biological stress. It doesn't always kill them immediately, but it does disrupt the internal balance of the colony. This stress usually doesn't show up right away. Kefir may continue fermenting, but the colony slowly weakens. The grains become smaller, less active, or take longer to ferment. Many people don't connect this outcome to the previous washing and keep repeating the mistake. Another form of silent damage happens when over-fermentation becomes routine. Leaving kefir too long once is usually not a big deal. The problem starts when excessive fermentation becomes the norm. Under those conditions, microorganisms consume almost all their food, and the environment becomes overly acidic. The bacteria and yeast survive, but they operate under constant pressure. Over time, the colony loses balance, and the quality of the kefir deteriorates. These mistakes share something important. They don't trigger a clear alarm signal. There's no mold, no obviously dangerous smell. There are only gradual changes that go unnoticed until the damage is already done. Another mistake that damages kefir grains without being immediately obvious is using the wrong milk. Not all milk feeds the colony in the same way. Some highly processed, diluted, or additive-heavy milks allow fermentation to happen, but they don't provide the nutrients needed to keep a colony strong in the long run. At first, everything seems fine. The kefir thickens, smells acidic, and looks normal. But over multiple cycles, the grains become more fragile, lose volume, or react poorly to small changes in temperature or fermentation time. It's not that the colony is failing, it's being poorly fed. This is where a common pattern appears. When something starts to change, the usual reaction is to intervene more. People switch milks constantly, adjust fermentation times every day, or handle the grains without a clear reason. That instability ends up doing more damage than the original problem. Kefir grains work better with consistency than with perfection. They need a predictable environment to adapt. Changing everything at once makes it impossible to know what was actually going wrong and keeps the colony in a constant state of stress. It's also important to understand that kefir grains don't react immediately. Fermentation has memory. The decisions you make today show their effects several cycles later. That's why many people don't connect a past mistake with a current problem. Caring for kefir grains isn't about correcting every detail. It's about observing patterns, adjusting one variable at a time, giving it time, and evaluating the result. That patience is what keeps a colony alive and strong. The most damaging mistake of all isn't technical, it's emotional. Unnecessary panic. When someone notices that kefir smells different, tastes more acidic, or has a new texture, they immediately assume something went wrong. Instead of observing, they react. They wash the grains, change everything, or throw them away. That panic breaks stability. Kefir grains are not an exact recipe. They are a living system that responds to its environment. Small changes are normal and expected. Room temperature, the season of the year, or fermentation rhythm matter far more than most people realize. Trying to constantly reset the colony only makes things worse. The grains never have time to adapt and remain stuck in a continuous adjustment phase. Over time, that weakens even strong colonies. Most kefir grains people believe died were actually still alive. They were simply weakened by accumulated mistakes and impulsive decisions. And many colonies are lost not because of neglect, but because of excessive control. When you understand that kefir grains need stability, everything changes. You stop fearing them. You stop intervening without a reason. You begin to observe, adjust calmly, and respect fermentation timing. That's when kefir stops feeling fragile and becomes reliable. Not because it's perfect, but because you understand how it works. Follow me, I am Kefirin. Fermented.